You already know what time it is. It's your boy DJ Richie Skye back with some tea, interviews, recaps, and more. And be sure to check the links in the description of this video for trips, for books, one-on-one sessions, and more. Now let's get into the tea. Well, Sky Squad, we are back in the building. We are back in the building. And I thought that this would be the absolute perfect screen grab to start off this episode. Okay, we're going to be talking about the Real Housewives of Potomac, but we're also going to be talking about the Martell and Arionne expose of Marsau. Yes, the expose of it all, if you will. Do we call it an expose? Is that what that was? I really don't know. But we're going to dive into it just a little bit. And then we're going to get our thoughts into season 9, episode 12 of the Real Housewives of Potomac. All right, so good morning to my people. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Thank you guys so much for the kind messages that you have, been providing, all weekend long or week long. Definitely, it has helped strengthen my family. So I want to just say thank you for that. And get that off my chest right at the rip. Grief is a process. So we take things day by day around here. And, today I felt like, doing something that makes me feel normal, as I stated before. So we're going to continue on with some normalcy. All right. So let's talk about this interview, right? Let's talk about this interview. So, last week,
how long did it take for you?
Last week, Letitia hopped on the Carlos King podcast and, basically she clapped back at Martell, making all types of accusations about him and some alleged men. And again, we put the alleged badge up here because, of course, that's what we got to do. For me, the allegations with the men thing, that didn't really that didn't really move me one way or another. It was some other things that she kind of mentioned in the video that sort of sent me into what is really happening with this show type of situation. So at this point, Martell has chosen to clap back, and he too is choosing chaos. Okay. The side chick espo. Okay. The expose. All right. If you will. And basically what you will see in this video, because I wanted to watch the entire thing for myself, because I really needed to understand what was the premise, what was the point. And I think our friends over at the Bravo Shade Room, they really summed it up really, really well. I'm going to read you guys what they wrote as their caption, their headline. It says, in an interview with Martel and Arionne, the alleged side chick, Chantel, claims that she had multiple affairs with Marsau Scott at Credit One. Now, for those of you guys who are not in the know, Credit One is, I believe that's Maurice's business, because, Maurice has the credit repair business. He's also an attorney. And so she alleges that she did not know he was married at first. Note the at first. All right. And he did not have a ring on, and there were no beds at Credit One. Well, why would there be beds at Credit One? That's like, to me, I'm like, why would there be beds at Credit One? Like, it's a business. Why would there be beds there? Why, it was like such a surprise and a shock that there were no beds that were being used allegedly in these alleged dalliances that that were happening in the heat of the night between 2 to 4 a.m. or 6 a.m. in the morning at Credit One. There's the shock and awe that there are no beds there. I don't know that I would expect there to be beds at the credit repair place, but to each his own. she says that he always used someone else to send money to her, and his brother Maurice was always there as his alibi, allegedly. She also alleged at one point, it sounded like to me that there was some type of three-way or a situation where she was with one brother with one thing going on one end and one brother with one thing going on the other end, and she was living the YOLO lifestyle. Okay. And she seemed very, very comfortable, talking about this alleged affair so very cavalierly. But to me, I don't know that this expose really hit the way that I think that they planned for it to hit. And I'm going to go down the reasons why and what would have made this actually a bit more intriguing. Because the most intriguing parts to me were not really about what the side chick Chantel, and I'm so sorry, ma'am, to have to say that, to have to call you that, but it sounds like more side chick to side chick conversation, right? That should have been the title of the episode, based on the way that Arionne herself was conducting the interview and then questioning Martell about what he was doing when they were all allegedly cheating together. She wants to know what he was doing while she was cheating with him, as he was cheating on his wife, as though she had some level of ownership in their situation. It was quite intriguing to me. The dynamic between Martell and Arionne was actually a bit more WTF, what am I watching, than really the Miss Chantel lady exposing these alleged details, right? Because she painted a picture of Martell as being her knight in shining armor when they were in Vegas, allegedly, and that allegedly Martell had to chastise Marsau to pay for things for this woman who he has allegedly flown out to be with while they were in the Vegas, which is interesting to me, because why fly someone out to Vegas when Vegas is filled with plenty of women who I am sure, men and women who I am sure would do the job just as nicely? I don't know. Okay. There are plenty of people in the Vegas, right? Vegas got the strip club, all the things. Okay. So it was like, why fly somebody out when you don't really have to do that? I don't really understand. It is what it is. Additionally, there were some glaring inconsistencies in her story, right? So I'm going to give you guys a sort of reaction recap to one of the most glaring inconsistencies for me, and that was this.
Right. So how long did it take for you to realize that Marsau was married?
I'm not dumb. I realized it kind of like off the bat, because everything he did was just so secretive. Like,
okay.
For me, I didn't know that he had a wife. For like the first, we dealt with each other almost for like a year.
So at minute 10, about thereabouts, in the interview, you kind of say that you clocked the fact that he was married right off the bat. So you were basically clued in to what you were doing, right? And then she goes on to state it was what it was. They was just having a good time. She wasn't really into him like that. She was into the excitement of it all. And then in this breath at the end, around the 36-minute mark, she then says, but I didn't know. And I was really liking him. So for me, those types of inconsistencies in the story lead me to feel like something is awry. Like, why is that inconsistent for you? Why is that part not consistent? Either you knew or you did not know. Which one was it? And you're gonna have to figure out which one that is and stick to it in order for this to hit the way that y'all want it to hit. So the inconsistencies aside, I would also have to, there's a way to interview people, right? And there are many different interview styles, as you guys have seen across, YouTube. And for me, I also have to say that there are enough amazing content creators out here in these YouTube streets who do interviews, who conduct interviews, who may not have gone to school for journalism, but know how to ask questions in a way that really pulls out and gets the interviewee to open up. And for me, I felt like the way that Arionne was asking the questions felt more like an interrogation than an interview. For me, that style, it just seems so boom, 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 boom. And I was like, give this woman a moment to elaborate on things so we can really hear, because otherwise it feels like you are directing her, right? And so also too, you and Martell are talking over top of each other. So then there's that issue. The other issue, as I stated before, was that the more intriguing parts of the interview came from the idea that Arionne is actually questioning Martell and what he's been doing, confirming aspects of their affair in broad daylight, as if it is just the most normal thing in the world. So it was, I don't know. I think that objectively speaking, from the outside in, if you were going to do something like this, I don't know that this was the right way to go about it. I think that it probably did Martell and Arionne more harm than good, unless their intent was just to get views. But this wasn't it. Y'all go talk about y'all's relationship if that's what y'all want to do. Again, it's quite revealing, the interview, if you choose to watch it. But I just felt like we needed to talk about it and discuss it. It was on a lot of levels, it was very cringeworthy. And I don't think that was it. I don't think that was it. And I see a lot of you guys that say you couldn't watch it. And I honestly, I understand. I understand why you couldn't watch it. I understand. But in order for me to talk about it and really kind of analyze it in the way that I felt like I needed to watch the entire thing and try to understand what was the point of this, right? Yeah, I see. Daphne says the interview was triggering for me. I hate when people lie when they don't have to. Also, Arionne is relishing in her moral corruption. I guess I just feel like that part of it was like the proud way in which they discussed it was a bit disturbing. Not a bit. It was disturbing. It was just like the interview revealed to me more about Martell and Arionne than it did about anything dealing with Marsau and this young lady here. And I think that's probably where it starts and stops for me. So I think that they probably should have really thought that through before going through with that, or at least thought through it in the edit of it, because it definitely gives you more insight into their dynamic and their history. I don't know. again, as Wendy says, chaos. All right. So again, thank you guys for the, condolences. I see a lot of you guys, commenting, with love and light, positive energy and prayers. Thank you so much. Again, I'm on here today because it feels like normalcy to me to do something that feels normal, to talk to you guys. So, I appreciate the support. Let's get into not Married to Medicine. Lord, I haven't even watched that yet. We're going to talk about Real Housewives of Potomac, season 9, episode 12, Shake the Devil Off. All right. Jacqueline's peace offering at Karen's Love Lagoon falls flat. The ladies head to Panama, where Wendy sets up some choice room pairings. And during a dinner, the group has words with Mia about her behavior. Okay. All right. So, this episode, to me, if I had to rate it on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm going to give it a 9. I was and just kind of watching it and casually watching it and just sort of, just thinking about my enjoyment of the episode in and of itself. I did feel like it was funny. It was lighthearted. It was, housewives doing some shady things to each other. But there are some aspects of it for Karen that definitely won't age well or did not age well. Okay. Specifically, I want to talk to you guys about, let's just start off. Let's just start things off at the beginning. Karen is still having her Love Lagoon party, and we see essentially Jacqueline roll in with these heart-shaped balloons. And she says, I have to note that she did say, with the weight of these 8 citations, but here is where you lose the good vibes. The mere mention of the citations, even in the same context of releasing the weight of the citations at the Love Lagoon party, is probably going to be received poorly, Jacqueline. So I don't know if somebody pushed her into making that moment, because it didn't seem natural at all. But it did fall flat, I felt like, because initially even Giselle is like, yes, balloons, yes, balloons. Ashley is in her mind clapping her hands that somebody is coming to shade Karen. And what I don't want to see for Ashley, I don't want to see, there's a part of me that feels like Ashley is becoming Giselle's new Robin. And I don't want to see that. I really don't. I don't want to see that for you, Ashley. So there's a moment later where Ashley on Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, they would have called this out, but it's not called out. And it's a moment later on where, Giselle is chastising Jacqueline for coming to Karen's house uninvited with the balloons. And in her confessional, Ashley calls out Giselle and is like, girl, is your memory short? Because wasn't it you, me, and Robin who also went to Karen's home uninvited just so we can see where she lived? If there was actually anybody in the house. So I feel like because of her simply doing it in the confessional and not saying it in the moment, you lost a moment of that could have been chaotic. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, on Salt Lake City, somebody would have called that moment out right then and there. And that's where you lose steam on a show like this. You lose steam when you lose that opportunity for somebody to say something in real time that they should be saying, and they only say it in the confessional, and then it becomes a nothing burger. So it's like, yeah, you're friends, but that's the whole point of these shows. You call the people out, right? So anyway, so as Jacqueline comes and she's doing the messy things, Karen kicks her out, and listen, rightly so.
You don't come to somebody's house uninvited. You know what I'm saying? You don't step on somebody's property uninvited. Ray has to escort her out. You know, Mia steps out with her. You know, there's some question about whether or not Mia gave her the address and told her to come or not. People are questioning Jacqueline's motives. And it just kind of is what it is, you know. And then, you know, it's time for, you know, the ladies to eat. They go eat. Karen serves the dairy. Kiana is like, girl, I'm lactose. You know, I can't eat this food. The mermaids get out of the pool, and Ray is watching. Ray was into them. Ray was into them mermaids. He was into them. Okay. I ain't mad at you, man. I ain't mad at you, Ray. I ain't mad at you, Ray. Because they're walking around there in the poom poom shorts, out of the little mermaid outfit, and just, you know, Ray is looking and laughing and looking and laughing, and it is, you know, it's just comedy right there. The ladies head to the airport. You know, it's time to go on the girls' trip to Panama. Wendy is hosting the trip. And she wants the good vibes, but she is also going to want some chaos. Little do the ladies know that upon arrival at the airport in Panama, they have a 2 hour or 1.5 hour or 1 hour and 46-minute ride to go to get to the actual hotel resort. Now, in the car, there's some talk about Ashley and her new paramour, which is going to be interesting for me because I want to know if this is this thing real for Ashley, or is this play for the show? Because if it's real for Ashley, then what happens when she goes to do the hotel happiness show down in Mexico with Giselle, Luann, and Shannon? Did she just forget about Jack Harlow lookalike, or nah? I mean, I'm playing things out, like how things going. And I'm always a little suspicious when somebody just starts dating someone on the camera that I don't necessarily believe they're really dating in real life. It does feel like they're making the attempt to actually show some affection. So maybe it is true. I'm probably just skeptical because I've been watching these reality TV shows for so long, and we kind of know what signs to spot, and we kind of be a little jaded, and maybe I'm a little jaded. So I will readily admit my own faults here. Okay. There is some discussion when the ladies, the room assignments. So basically, Wendy is choosing chaos with these room assignments. Wendy decides that it is going to be her, Mia, and I cannot recall who else in one villa, but everybody will have their own room. But she makes sure to put Jacqueline, Ashley, and Karen, who are currently beefing hard, in the same villa. She readily admits, I chose chaos here. And that's basically the function of these types of trips, to put these people in uncomfortable situations. So she also puts Giselle in the same suite with Stacy, which I don't know why. For some reason, Giselle seems to like either like picking on Stacy or just doesn't really like her all that much. Which I don't know why, because I like Stacy and I think Stacy's fun. I feel like Stacy would be a good time to room with. I just do. But my question was, where is Jazzy? Why wasn't she invited on the trip? Like, I feel like Jazzy definitely provides. Thank you. Jazzy adds a lot to the show in terms of like this element of class and elegance. And I just feel like, you know, I like her commentary and I don't feel like we really get enough of it. And I'm kind of wondering why. Meanwhile, it's time for the first dinner of the night. Okay. It's kind of the first dinner of the night. And there are several conversations that need to be had. First, Giselle needs to chastise, you know, Jacqueline for showing up at Karen's house with said balloons and representing the 8 citations, right? Now, true enough, as I pointed out to you earlier, Ashley in her confessional is calling Giselle out like, girl, we did the same thing years ago. So you calling her out is kind of ludicrous at this point. All right. You've been here before. And that seems to be a little bit of a theme with Giselle this season. Things that I feel like she has done before, she is now chastising people for. But that could be growth, right? That could be growth. That could be, I've been there, I've done that, I know it wasn't right. Period, right? But again, it's Ashley that I have the issue with here, because Ashley, if you thought it, you should have said it. Because that doesn't make for good TV for you to just call it out in a confessional, right? We need the good TV. Make good TV. Show up when you need to show up and say what you need to say then. That's how we make a show. All right? So as Jacqueline is giving her, unfortunately, Jacqueline does not do the best job of even, I need Jacqueline to work on how she responds. It's giving, I'm not good at this yet. And I hate to say that. Because really, honestly, Jacqueline seems like a sweet girl. I mean, even on the show. But it seems like a sweet girl trying to do unnaturally messy things under the guise of, I'm concerned, right? Okay, so let's take it back to the beginning, the first episode. Well, I talked to Karen and she sounded kind of drunk about a woman who is facing DUI charges, right? That's not going to sound good. So what you think she going to think when she find out you said that? Okay? That's number one. And then it was, oh, but you know, I didn't mean, no, you've already said it. So now you got to stand in it, right? So then as you bring the 8 balloons for the 8 citations, regardless of you saying that I was releasing the weight of the 8 citations, it should have just been either, girl, I'm just bringing you some balloons because I really wanted to extend the olive branch, or yes, I did bring 8 balloons for your 8 citations because you got 8 of them. Count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And if she had been a bad bee about it, what she would have said was, here are the 8 citations. Here's what each balloon represented. Citation number 1, bam. Citation number 2, bam. Citation number 3, bam. Citation number 4, bam. That would have been standing 10 toes down in it, right? So it sends a mixed message when you're saying, I'm releasing the weight of the 8 citations with these balloons. It just sounds crazy. It sounds crazy. It sounds like you tried to make something up to make make a scene, and then to make light of the situation, and then position it as an olive branch. Girl, no. Just, you got to either go one way or the other. Girl, I'm bringing you some balloons because I want you to be happy and I want to make amends. Or girl, no, I did it. I'm being shady. And have each citation written on the balloon. Okay. If you want to be shady, you got to go all the way there. And if you need a good reference for shade and really absolutely throwing shade in somebody's face, watch last night's episode of Married to Medicine, which I have not seen all of, but I have seen the clips. Okay. Now, the next thing that we need to address is Giselle, yet again, is head cheerleader tonight. Okay. And as head cheerleader, she needs to get the girls together. Before we get there, Karen, Lord, no. I got this. Karen, you saying that you're going to press charges on Jacqueline for A, trespassing, and then B, letting the balloons up, which from what I hear, letting the balloons up is illegal. I think in the state of Maryland. I think it became illegal recently. Not recently, within the past several years or something like that. So, but 9 times out of 10, will people be charged for that? I mean, is somebody really, are the balloon police out there looking
and scouting the airways for the balloons floating in the sky. No, I mean, people are probably more concerned about the drones flying around than anything else. But whatever. But then it was the clankety clank of it all. She need to be worried about the jail. Karen, girl, I got to tell you, listen, I like you and everything, but that didn't age well for you. It did not. It really didn't. Specifically as a result of what we have just found out last week about you being found guilty and now you having to be sentenced. Okay. Now, I think it is one thing for you to have just basically kicked this woman out, but to throw in these charges of trespassing when you know that this was probably a production-oriented situation, and I'm sure the trespassing was really just a threat to show, girl, don't do that again. I did think what Karen said in those confessionals, I don't think that aged well for her, especially considering what she's already going through. Period. And we got to call a thing on that one. So that's not something I would really play with while I know I got things going on. I wouldn't do that. That's just me. The next thing that needs to be addressed is Giselle, again, head cheerleader, needs to gather Mia. Mia, you brought up my girls, what was going on in their house. And if I want to post that my girls are perfect on social media, then my girls are perfect on social media. Now, at the end of the day, Giselle is correct, right? What she posts on her social media is usually, as most people do, a highlight reel, right? It's a highlight reel. This is what we want people to see, what we're proud of, our achievements. Some people, it depends on what you're going through. You might want to post something. I mean, I literally just made a post yesterday about, what I'm going through, but it was really in celebration of and to thank people for, right? So similarly, you can't really control what Mia posts on her social media and how that looks to you. Now, you may say, okay, Mia, it looks confusing to us when you do X, Y, and Z. We don't understand that. Should Mia have gone there with something that Giselle told her off camera about the girls and the young man? No, I don't think that she should have done that. But where it became very interesting was Dr. Wendy, calling out Giselle and saying, listen, when you thought I made a face about your girls, you went on the attack with me, but you're handling Mia with kid gloves. And I just want to point out that there's a very interesting dynamic that's different here. Giselle points out to her, well, me and Mia are friends, or at least supposed to be friends. So it's different because I did not like you. In any other situation, that would be a fair point. But when we look at the last season of Potomac as a whole and just the tragedy of it all, it's an interesting place for Wendy and Giselle to be in. It's an interesting place for Wendy and Giselle to be in. Wendy clocked something, and I like that she said it in a moment. I like that she didn't wait for the confessional like Ashley. I like that she said it out loud and right then and there. That is how you move the show along. Regardless of whether or not you agree with Dr. Wendy or whether or not you agree with Giselle, somebody needed to address something that was on their mind, and they did it. That's what I appreciate. The dialogue about it. Because if you don't have the dialogue, then the issue lingers. And when the issue lingers on the show, it lingers for us. And then we begin to process it in all types of ways. So the sooner y'all can talk about things and get things out on the table, the sooner we can process it and move forward as well. That's how a good show works.
And really, there's just a lot of there's not really a lot more to say about this dinner to me, or what happens the next day. I mean, there are some moments the next day where Karen takes some photos of Jacqueline, so there could be an olive branch being built there. Do I think Karen was really gonna call the police and have her arrested for trespassing? No. I think Karen just wanted to emphasize her point of, girl, don't do that again. And now you know better, okay? Because I will call the law. I think it was really more of that. It's like, leave me alone type situation. Leave me alone, I'll leave you alone. But the fact that she was also still willing to take pictures of her the next day, I feel like there's hope for a bridge to be built back. Because honestly, for real, the issues really, it ain't that deep that I don't think that they can come back from it, right? So the next thing that we see is Mia, before the day's events, Wendy has a whole event day planned. She gives the ladies gifts, some bottles of rum. They're doing rum tastings and stuff like that. And it's feeling like it's a fun, girls trip, right? It's feeling like it's a fun girls trip. And I think that this is going to be a nice way to go, right? Sunshine BB says, don't do Karen like that. I'm not really doing her like that. I just feel like what the truth of the matter is, like, let's not joke about something when you're dealing with something similar, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want Karen to go to jail. Absolutely not. But because of what we're seeing in the headlines and the timing of the episode, it does not age well that she said that. And that's truthful. That's truthful. That, it is. So that's not me trying to come at Karen. That's just me stating that it wasn't the best look to say, or to have played in light of what we just found out. And they might have should have edited that out, to be honest. Anyway, Mia is having an issue because she has left the kids with the nanny. Gordon has decided to take the kids and then drop them off with a different nanny, if I'm understanding that correctly. And that's a problem. And so now Mia has to figure out where the kids. And in that moment, I don't even know that if I didn't know what my kids are, I might have been on the first plane back. I don't know. Hopefully she's able to figure out the whole situation by the next episode, but it definitely doesn't look like things will be getting any better for Giselle and Mia anytime soon, based on what we see in the next episode. But y'all let me know what y'all think. And of course, listen, feel free to disagree with anything that I say, because I'm simply watching from my own lens, right? And the great thing about this channel, this space, is that we all see things through different lenses. And then we comment and then perhaps see things through somebody else's lens, right? And that's how we get to growth and new spaces, right? So anyway, let me know what y'all thought about the episode. Let me know what y'all thought about the Martell and Arionne situation. Do you guys think that Marsau and Letitia should say or do anything in response to this? I don't know. I honestly think that I would just probably ignore it, to be quite honest with you. I don't know. Because that interview was more revealing. It told us more about Martell and Arionne than I think it did about anything else. But I don't know. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Again, thank you guys for all of your condolences. I really appreciate it. Thank you for the love. I thank you for the support. It really means a lot to me and my family. And with that being said, I will see you guys in the next video. Hopefully I'll get a chance to do Married to Medicine today, because that was lit from what it looks like online. All right. I'll catch you guys in the next one.
Now that you've watched today's video, let's get into this group trip to Cape Town, South Africa. Yes, y'all, Skye Squad, we are hitting South Africa and we are hitting it hard. April 10th through the 17th of 2025. You can click the link in the description of this video to get more information and to reserve your spot. Now, we're going to keep this intimate because we have a lot to do. We are going to be looking at real estate. We're going to be learning about retirement and permanent visas, dual citizenship, buying and purchasing land. We are going to be looking at it all because we want options in South Africa, baby. And listen, Cape Town is one of my favorite cities. So of course, we're going to be doing some of my favorite things. We are going to be hitting the wineries. We are going on a safari. We're going to Table Mountain. We're going to some of my favorite restaurants. Let me tell you, one of them is Gold Star, baby. If you know, you know. We're going to be meeting with some expats who have relocated from the United States to Cape Town as well. This is going to be a luxury experience, okay? So we're talking doing the absolute most. So if you've ever wanted to go to Cape Town, South Africa, but maybe you didn't have the group to go with, maybe you just didn't have the right people that wanted to go and experience it with you, this is an opportunity for you to come with us. Now, I only have about 10 to 12 spots available. Yes, because again, I'm trying to keep this thing intimate and I know that what type of experience I want it to be. So get in while you can, y'all. Trust me, in 2025, we are going to be needing all the options that we can get. And I am going to do my utmost to bring us the most that we can possibly get in and out of the country. So come with me to South Africa. The group trip is going to be lit April 10th through the 17th. Go ahead and click the link in this description of this video so that you can reserve your spot today. Cape Town, South Africa awaits.